TSF Entertainment.
Yo, and we're back again at TSF Entertainment. This time we are bringing you Bel-Air episode 5, getting to know season 3. And we got none other than the big bro, Retro CG. What's going on, bro?
What's up, bro?
Nothing much. Before we
Long
get
time no
into
talk to.
it, before we get into it, let's just go ahead. What you would rate the episode?
I give it an 8.
Okay. Yeah, I'd give it the same as I gave the last episode, which was a 7. Wasn't bad. I felt like with this episode, like you said, I think, and I believe you said it earlier in the early episodes, like, yo, they're kind of rushing. And this episode and the other episodes, once you get to it, it kind of pushed it forward. So it was just like this episode, maybe it wasn't just, maybe it was 6, but it showed like how fast they were pushing the episodes. Like it was almost
and I
like
really
go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
really wish they didn't do that because there were things that take away from this episode that we needed to linger on.
Yeah.
But we got the answers for them too fast for us to linger on them.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just some joints. I was just like I said, once we get into the other episodes, I was just like, wait a minute, like, hold on, like we didn't even touch base. It was just like, yo, y'all just was like, yeah, we got to pump these episodes out. Like we pumping Freebase or something, like, you know, back New Jack City, the Carter era, like we pumping crack, like we got to push these joints out. And I was just like, wait a minute, hold on, I couldn't even remember, like, so
yeah.
But episode synopsis says Will and Carlton look for a solution to their Blackccess problems at a pickleball tournament, which I would have thought they would have gave a little background because most black people don't even know what pickleball is, because I don't even know what pickleball is, but just looking at it, we'll get into it. And Viv and Phil celebrate their anniversary, but something seems off between them. So the episode starts off with Carlton, Ashley, and Will. They're downstairs. They're going through and just, you know, cooking up this whole breakfast and everything for Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil for their anniversary. And they have to bring it up. And when they bring it up, they realize that Aunt Viv is the only one in the bed. And then Uncle Phil comes in and with the whole pillow and everything, and it's just like, oh yeah, I slept down in my office, and everybody has this whole confused face, like, wait a minute, why were you down sleeping in the office? Of course he tries to cover up, like, oh, well, I was working late. But it clearly showed like, nah, bro, something going on.
Especially with Ashley. You saw it on Ashley. Ashley seemed like she was the most confused and like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Carlton tried to play it off. Will seemed like he was a little thrown off too. But as soon as they deliver the breakfast, Uncle Phil comes in. He gives his excuse. You know, I was working late in the office, whatever. And the kids leave. And they immediately start arguing. And, you know, you see them all stop and look back at the door like, what's going on? And Carlton, again, plays it off like, oh, no, everything's cool. They're fine. They're fine.
I didn't understand it because I was just like, bruh, y'all do realize y'all room is not soundproof.
Yeah.
So it was just like, immediately it's just like, you know, like they can hear y'all, right? And then of course Carlton hears where it's like his name is brought up, like, oh, you're gonna put this on Carlton. So Carlton just thinking everything is all on him because you know his whole what you call it. But I was just like, bruh, like you didn't even let them get out the door good enough before y'all just go into it. Like I was like, shoot, go in the bathroom or something if y'all wanted to argue.
And it's their anniversary, so it's like, again, this is not the time or the place.
Yep.
You know. And Viv looks at her phone and she see that Sharif has sent her a DM saying, "Are you trying to tell me something?" We knew from the last episode that all them likes that Steph was putting out on his Instagram was going to get his attention, and it did. Uncle Phil comes in. He's trying to, you know, let's get through the day. It's our anniversary. You know what? Let's not let anything spoil the day. You know, I got a special day plan for us. You know, I got a special evening plan for us. You know, have a great day at work, blah, blah, blah. Will and Carlton trying to figure out what they're gonna do with all these black ass shirts.
That's right though. It definitely was, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't know what y'all about to do with all these shirts, bro. Like, y'all about to have to try to flip these joints ridiculously.
Yep.
And I don't know how y'all gonna flip them.
Yep. But y'all
gonna have to try to flip them
2 weeks to
any way possible.
Shirts. 2 weeks.
That was a lot of inventory.
A lot of inventory. Hoodies and shirts. Y'all got 2 weeks. You gotta move it. Uncle Phil comes in and he pretty much tells the fellas that, listen, I need y'all to get all the stuff up out the living room, put it in the garage. I don't want anything to upset your mom today. You know, it's our anniversary, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, Carlton lingers back and has a conversation with Uncle Phil about, you know, his sobriety and his progress and the business. And they have a meeting with Quentin today and all this stuff and whatever. Who cares? Ashley and this band. This seems to be out of nowhere. This seems to be a out of nowhere storyline with her and this whole band thing. Is it a plot device to set us up for the little friend? But it just seems to be out of nowhere. All of a sudden, she's into music and she's a artist now. Like the first time we heard her do anything was that episode with her and Olivia. Like I don't know where this came from.
Yeah, it really came out of left field, because like you see, Viv comes in and she's just like, can you turn it down? And she was trying to, I don't know, attach it or connect it with a speaker, etc., or whatever. And Viv was just like, you know, hey, you know, like what's going on, etc., or whatever. So yeah, I'm with you, Retro. And you've been saying this since like day one of Bel-Air. Ashley's character, the way they have wrote for Ashley's character has been terrible, because it's so many episodes and there's so many scenes with Ashley. It's like y'all could have kept this part out. It's like it's almost like it's no purpose. It's just like y'all trying to find little, you know, bits and pieces where we can insert her character in there and insert it in to the storyline or whatnot. And it was just like you inserted her into this, and it was just like, why? Because we haven't heard anything about this before. Like you said, it was just like all of a sudden, like we saw her fighting for, you know,
Teacher.
Yeah, the teacher, Tatiana Ali, the Ashley that played on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We saw her fighting for her character, and now all of a sudden it's just like, oh, she's doing this band. It was like we never heard anything about a band beforehand.
Never even seen her in a music class, you know.
Never. And now all of a sudden, like she's making beats or she's doing spoken words or she's singing, etc., or whatever. And it's just like, yo, where did this come
she's
from?
A florist.
Yeah. It was just like, yo, it's just coming out of nowhere. And I'm just like, I'm confused, because I was just like, okay, like
they're trying to keep her because Ashley is such an important character for Fresh. Well, all the characters in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, none of them kind of, you know, went upstairs and never came back. So, you know, they got to keep Ashley's storyline alive for this franchise, but it's like they really need to find something else to do with the character, because she's Judy Winslow waiting to happen. All right, so she even asked her mom, you know, you can see that she's still thinking about earlier at breakfast. So, you know, she kind of baits her mom to try to see if she can get some more information about what's going on with her and her dad. She's like, you need me to help you wrap some of Dad's gifts? She's like, no. She was like, I'll focus on your dad. You know, you focus on being a kid, you know, and have a good day and turn that music down.
Exactly.
And there you go. Cue Ashley, exit stage left.
Yep. That's why I was just like, bro, I was just like, a lot of her scenes this season, you know, just
pointless.
take them out.
They're pointless. I think they have to do that to give each character. They got 9 different characters. They got to get screen time. So, you know, they give Ashley these little transition scenes, is what I like to call them. Yeah. They're little transitional scenes where she transitions from one story arc to the next.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil and Jeffrey are in the office having a conversation about the development project. And of course, Jeffrey's distracted because he's tracking Frederick's whereabouts.
Yep.
He's still suspicious of why Frederick has that burner phone. You know, him and Uncle Phil have a brief little conversation about that.
It was funny to me because Phil's like, oh, you know, we'll just be up front. And I was like, bruh.
Like, the same thing you haven't been doing?
I was like, you telling him on how to, you know, I don't want to say teach or, you know,
giving advice
father to his son, but it was like, yo, the stuff that you telling him to do, you didn't do.
Yeah. Giving advice he need to be following for himself.
I was like, the advice you giving him, you know, like you didn't do. So I was just like, okay, that's just gonna go one end and out the other.
What's on Carlton's mind? What Carlton going through?
I think, well, Carlton, I think this season is just like he is. Matter of fact, okay, so I remember this is where he's hearing the his parents arguing, and then he hears his name come up.
So he thinks he's responsible for.
Yeah, so he feels responsible for both of them having this whole like beef in a sense, because he feels like it's all on him because, you know, his addiction, him announcing it out to the world, and like now, you know, they're so worried about him, etc. whatnot. And it's just like I felt like I was just like, yo, this is probably what's going to push Carlton back.
I hope
to, you know, how he was last season, because he's so busy trying to make sure, like, yo, everybody else around me is good. I don't want them to worry about me, but I'm not even thinking about myself, and it was going to push him back.
Yep.
And like even he dazed out, and you know, Will's telling him like, yo, hey man, we got to make sure we got to get this Blackccess stuff, you know, up to speed. We got to make sure. And y'all can tell me in the comments, like, I forgot the so-called celebrity's name of
Pony Rich.
Yeah, that's
so they got their 11th annual celebrity pickleball tournament is being held at the country club, and Pony Rich is going to be there, even though we didn't see him participate in the celebrity tournament.
Yeah,
but he was basically, they felt like if they could get in front of Pony Rich and get their shirt in front of him, he's got so many followers that he would help endorse their product and sell some of these shirts. So that's their motivation behind being the bar hand or the helpers at the tournament. So they go meet up with the supervisor. Now I can't remember his name. Let me go on IMDb.
Okay. You know who I thought he was going to be this season? What's the guy name at Bel-Air at the school that, you know, was messing around?
God, what is his name?
Oh man, I forgot his name. Y'all can let us know in the comments. I thought that's who he was going to be this season. I thought he was going to be like him, and he was just going to give Will and Carlton hell because he ain't like them. I was like, okay, so he's going to be the new antagonist. Like I said, if I didn't say it right, y'all can tell me in the comments. But that's who I thought he was going to be. But he actually looked out and helped them out. It was like, yo, the pickleball. This y'all need to go talk to what's her name? Oh man, what's the lady's name? I know you know. I know you remember. I can't think of her name right now.
What's talking about, bro?
It's at the tip of my tongue. I know her name in real life because this is Lorianne Gibson, but I cannot remember her name on the show.
Oh, Miss Tina.
Hey,
Miss Tina was something else. I'm like, Miss Tina, what you in here trying to do, Miss Tina?
Hey, look, I don't know who else. I watched this scene.
What's going on?
I was like, yo, Miss Tina is giving off cougar vibes. I don't know if it was just me. Miss
Tina?
Tina was giving off cool.
Yeah, she was. She was low key flirting with the boys. Like, Miss Tina, what you doing? Miss Tina, you know, she's a tough ass, you know, and I guess she's one of the managers, or maybe she heads up the celebrity pickleball tournament thing or whatever. But she's a decision maker on who gets to work that function. And I guess for her, she wanted to see if the fellas had what it takes to work this function. So she challenges Will to a game of pickleball. And even Will said, that's not what I thought she had in mind.
Exactly. Yo,
I was like, that's not what we had in mind either, Will. Like,
I was thinking the same thing. Like,
Miss Tina,
I was just like, okay. I was like, you know, Miss Tina is a cougar.
Yeah,
and
Miss Tina, like, what you doing?
And I was like, it's crazy because it wasn't until when Will said something that I realized. I was like, yo, they're still teenagers.
Yeah,
they're not of age.
Yeah, not
so
age.
It didn't click. It didn't click until that scene. I was like, yo, they're not of age. But I for sure thought Miss Tina was sure enough giving. She was giving cougar vibes. I was like, yeah. And it was, what was funny, Will was like, I was ready to do, yeah.
So Will beats her. Will beats the dink.
Will about to take it down through that.
Yeah. Will beats the dink out of her in the pickleball game or whatever. And she says, okay, I'll go ahead and let you guys work the function or whatever. And she puts them in their new uniform and everything. And she comes in and she's just hard ass. And I'm like, okay. Whatever. What I have issues with is, okay, so I'll get back to that. Okay, we were wrong. It wasn't the assistant and it wasn't the chef. Okay, so we found out who the mystery artist is, which I really didn't care. But we found out who the mystery artist was, and it was a young lady that had been following Aunt Viv's career all throughout her career, ever since she did the painting called Sunday's Best. A little black girl getting her hair combed, and the little girl whose name is Destiny tells Aunt Viv how her work has inspired her over the years to become an artist, and how she apologized for sending her all the DMs and painting on the side of her building. So that answered all our questions. And Aunt Viv is happy to see a young black artist that is, you know, taking her work and was inspired by her work to create. So I said, yeah, she's gonna be the new next Neiman fellow, which we said that last anyway. All right, so Jeffrey back at the crib, whatever. He don't fix him a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or something, and Frederick comes in, and
whatever it was hot.
It was hot.
Drunk it like it was nothing.
Yeah, he drank it like it was cool. Frederick comes in. He was talking about something about going down to a bar or a pub or something to watch a game or something. And Jeffrey's like, "You lying?" So Jeffrey was like, "Oh, okay. Do you want me to come along with you?"
And he was like, "Oh, you know, they gonna frown upon, you know, older people being there at the pub, etc., or whatever."
Yeah. So you know, Frederick slips out with his little backpack on, and you know, he's off. Jeffrey looking at him like, "You lying ass. I'm finna go find out what you up to." So they're at the tournament, which they didn't even show us who was playing. So whatever.
They didn't.
And I'm like, isn't Carlton too young to be serving alcohol?
Yes.
And Carlton's addiction was Xanax and maybe a little Coke. Maybe a little Coke. It's still unclear whether or not he was snorting Xanax, crushed up Xanax, or Coke. Xavier, if you're watching this, I know in the comments last season you said it was Xanax. I agree, but I feel like it was Xanax that escalated the Coke. But anyway, he's never had an alcohol problem. Why all of a sudden now he's triggered by alcohol?
I think it came from the house, because remember, as soon as he came home, they had a lock on all the wine. They had a wine, because remember, we never saw the first 2 seasons. They never had a wine cellar, and they never had a lock on it. And then as soon as he come home from rehab, they have a wine cellar and they have a lock on it. So I think it was just one of those things where it was just like, yo, mentally he saw that and was just like, yo, this could be
Or is it a plot device for us to forget that he was actually addicted to something else?
Yeah, it could just be like
they're
something.
replacing that with the alcohol. Like
Yeah,
now all of a sudden
he
the
could
sight of
replacing it
alcohol
for
triggers
what he
him.
was, sniffing the Xanax or something like that.
Sniffing the Xanax or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So he's holding a little platter. The lady's pouring champagne or looks champagne. He's just
he's having an anxiety attack, panic attack, and everything. And the part that gets me on this is just like Will recognizes this, but I'm like, yo, if you are supposed to be, I don't know what they call them, the ball boy, etc., whatever, for the pickleball tournament, how are you just able to get up
and run over here to
the tournament,
and
just go help Carlton? Like, so I'm like, so that pickleball game that was going on, that's no longer there.
I guess somebody else. Yeah, I guess they were on the intermission. And I'm like, man, they pulling out shots and everything at this. They get lit over here.
They getting lit
at the country club. They get lit.
I was just like the way it just popped up, and then
I love how all of them have these secondary jobs now. They started out as being the pig pens, and then Jackie was supposed to be a yoga instructor. Now she's riding around on golf carts. Will and Carlton are ball boys now. I'm like, okay, they got upgraded jobs. They second day on working at the country club. I'm not so sure. I mean, I get where Jackie was coming from, but at the same time, man, that expression on her face made her just look hideous right here. But like, she was angry with Will because Will didn't defend her against his girl, and I'm like, what did you expect him to do?
Nah, I'm opposite. I wasn't mad at Jackie at that because it was just like, yo, Will, like, yo, at the same time, it was like, yo, you should have stepped up, because it should have just been like how we said in the earlier reviews, like, yo, Lisa, you said we were together. You said we had no title, etc., or whatever. So when that happened, I felt like Will should have stepped up and be like, yo, why you tripping like this? We not together, etc., whatever. So it was just like, I kind of felt Jackie. I was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even step up. You just sat back and then say nothing. And I felt on that because I kind of put myself in that position. I was just like, yo, I would have stepped up and told Lisa, like, okay, wait a minute. What we doing? Like, why are you acting like this? Like, she helping us getting Blackccess, or as Retro CG says, black asses, getting us off of the ground. So like, why you acting like this? And we could have had that whole dialogue. So I kind of felt Jackie on this joint. It was just like, yo, you didn't even step in. Like, I helped you when you came into the whole Zenith thing, and I held you down and I looked out for you and made sure you were good, and you couldn't even have my back. So I kind of felt Jackie on this joint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of felt Jackie on this joint. Like, yo, I looked out for you. I helped you out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But, oh, man. Yo, this joint right here was wild.
Yo.
This joint right here was wild.
The chef though pulled up with a whole buffet.
Whole buffet.
And then look on the assistant face like, girl, what you doing? This man who came up here to the job to see you. She like, what's going on with y'all two?
Yeah.
She was like, close the door behind you, get out of here, mind my business.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, if you wanted to get my attention, well, you got it. He was like, I was wondering, like, did he know today was her anniversary? I doubt that he did. But I guess he was just responding to the fact that, she hit all those likes or whatever. So I guess he was like, okay, she trying to make a move, so I'm gonna go ahead and see what she's talking about or whatever. Oh. So he shows up to her job unannounced with lunch. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, and Viv, you probably should have told him that, listen, well, she did tell him that, it was her girls that was liking his pictures and everything. He was like, oh, so you were talking about me with your girls?
Exactly.
And she was like, well, she should have said, hey, today's not really a good day. It's my anniversary. You know, my husband could be coming by any minute now. But that seemed to just went all the way out the window. Like, she got out there, she ate that good food and whatever. They having a little small talk, which was platonic. You know, he didn't cross the line. She didn't cross the line or whatever. But I still felt like, you know, when her husband showed up, it was kind of awkward for me because I don't know if I would have reacted the same way Uncle Phil did. But he played it cool. He played it cool. You know, they sitting there having a little talk. He comes in to take Aunt Viv to lunch and gives her flowers. And, you know, they invite him to stay. He's like, no, do your thing, player. Do your thing. Baby, I'll see you at home. What he should have did was he should have gave her a kiss or something, you know, it was like, yeah, uh-huh. But I was like, okay, he handled that much better than I expected him to. Yo, Chef was in there trying to make his move. No sound, bro.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Nope, your sound went away again.
Okay. What the hell is going on? Okay.
Don't touch it.
I don't know what's going on. My bad, folks. I don't know what's going on with the sound. But okay. So immediately when they hooked up, I think like Viv was just thinking like, yo, they were already at odds. So she wasn't even thinking about, you know, the whole anniversary, etc., whatnot. But this right here, I said to myself, when he said this, when he was like, oh yeah, nah, you good, etc., whatever, I said, hey, yo, he gonna throw that back up in her face. Yep. I said, there's no way possible. As Kendrick said to Drake, you know, master manipulator. I said, yo, he gonna throw that back up in her face. I said, yeah, nah. I said, because he too cool. He's like,
too
oh, no.
Smooth.
Y'all
smooth.
go ahead.
Cool.
Y'all go ahead. You know, I said, yeah. I said, this coming. I said, he gonna throw that back up in her face like,
and
oh, yeah, you know.
Did. He didn't do it in that moment.
Yeah.
But when they got home, you know, he made a little comment about it. He was like, well, I'm not going to be tripping on little small things.
Yep. And I knew it was coming.
I'll take it. So little Olivia and Ashley are at the house, and, you know, they are having auditions for the little band that they're trying to start out of nowhere. And of course, you know, Olivia is coming across a little bit annoying to Ashley. And I feel like Ashley was a little rude to the little girl because the little girl was just trying to be a friend.
I felt
and she was just trying to help Ashley to understand that if your parents do get divorced, I've been there, you know, it's not nothing that you can do about it or whatever the case may be. But, you know, you're a kid. Don't take on those type of problems with her. But she didn't even really give her friend chance to finish her thought or to finish, you know, trying to talk to her or whatever. And she was just really trying to be a friend. I don't feel like she was being messy or
no, I didn't either.
You know, but Ashley was so rude to the little girl. She's like, basically, get out.
Like, my parents are not getting a divorce.
Now leave.
She's just like, I'm just trying to talk to you. And she was like, well, maybe I'll just go, yeah, maybe you should. And I thought that right then and there, we were going to see like, okay, well, we want to get some type of either dialogue or backstory as to why Ashley felt this way towards her, but we never did. It was just like one of those things like, oh, my parents not getting divorced. And I was just like, well, damn. I was just like, okay. Like,
and speed write her scenes. They don't do any development whatsoever on the character or any of her storyline. It's like Olivia is now gone. So Olivia is now poof, disappeared. It's like every storyline Ashley is a part of, it gets fast forward to completion. Same thing with the teacher. Yep. It's just like, okay, this was something that was important to Ashley. Ashley developing this little relationship and the whole thing about her being attracted to girls and everything. This was a whole plot device just to put this in here for the little girl and Ashley to now split and go their separate ways because the little girl tried to give Ashley advice. Like, I just felt like that was just stupid. Carlton is still wishing he was drinking and thinking, or wishing he was snorting and thinking, or whatever, just going through his problems or whatever. And he calls out the Spencer, the mediator from the meeting place that they go to for counseling. And is it here where he talks a little bit more about Amira He gives him advice about, you know, what he's going through and how it's part of the process or whatever, and that he's making progress, whether he feels like he's not, because you called me. So that says a lot, that you know you are trying to stay with it and do the work or whatever. But I still feel like he kind of touched on Amir. Maybe I'm thinking about another scene where he touched on Amir or whatever, but I already knew that, okay, the more time that this guy spends with Carlton, the more little nuggets he's going to drop in Carlton's ear about, you better watch your step with this one right here, because the one that you taking up time with, she going to cause you to backslide faster than anything else will. So you better be careful with this one, because she nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
She is. Is this the scene? Yeah, this is the scene here where the dude, the drunk dude with the
pushing up
on Jackie or whatever. And Will now, in hindsight, thinking back on what Jackie had said about him not defending her against Lisa, saw that the dude was giving her a hard time. So now he puts his cape on to go and save Jackie.
Yeah.
And ends up having to take a walk because he got a little rough with the guy and, you know, cursed at the guy and all this stuff. And
I was kind of mad at Miss Tina, because I was like, yo, how you getting mad at him? Like, no, you come get me.
You know why?
By the time we come get you, dude could have done all type of, and I'm not gonna say that because we don't want to get flagged. I'm gonna just say SA. He could have did all type of SA towards her.
Yes.
By the time Will came and got you,
she's underage. And she's underage.
Yeah, like, and you're talking about, no, you come get me, and I was just like, really? And you tell her to go take a walk?
He is a rich pink person at a country club. Do you really ask yourself why she took his side over Will's? That's obvious.
Like, I ain't even gonna lie, that saying kind of had me hot, because I was just like, are you serious? I was like, yo, shorty was like he could have did, and I was like, so you would have rather had Jackie punched him in his face, or it would have went further with SA?
Made a scene at the country club to alert the other members that something was going on. But anyway, Miss Tina tells Will that he doesn't need to handle those type of things, that he need to come and get her, and that he need to leave for a minute and go cool off. And we saw that Will missed his opportunity with Pony Rich because he had to go take a timeout. Jeffrey gets down here and he's pulled up on Frederick and like, oh, how was the game? You would have known if you would have went to where you said you was going to watch it.
Oh, yeah, I went to the pub and you're here.
Like, what? Are you following me?
You following me? Yeah.
Are you following me? What are you doing? Are you taking a piss? You're following me. And Jeffrey was like, yeah, what you up to? He was like, every night you go to the bathroom at midnight, same time when London come online. You make this one phone call, you turn the faucet on, you get on the phone, like, what are you up to? Why are you holding a burner phone and all this stuff? Frederick was like, listen, I promised that I wouldn't say anything. So Jeff was like, okay, that's cool. Keep your promises. You ain't got to worry about it because I'm going to follow you. And he did. And he follows Jeffrey or Frederick to a hotel room, motel, Holiday Inn, knocked on the door, and Miss fine-ass Penelope opens the door. We like, oh, we finally get to meet Penelope. And I liked her.
Okay, y'all. So we were wrong.
We were wrong.
We were wrong.
We thought he was up to some nefarious criminal drug dealing business.
Wrong.
We admit
it. So but I feel like at the same time we kind of said if it wasn't the gang, it
had something to do with that mom.
You know, it was Frederick's mom. But neither here nor there. We were wrong. And like you said, we come to see Penelope, you know, that, you know, the whole situation and everything of what's going on between them two.
Even here, I like the chemistry between the two of them. I said, okay, maybe we'll keep this character around. You know, we get a little bit more character development with Jeffrey, and we find out that that's his baby mama. I think they had plans on having a future together or being a family at the very least. But because of Jeffrey's actions back in London of getting rid of the people that he was working with, he had to go on the run. She had to go underground. Roman was supposed to take care of Penelope and Frederick. He got locked up, so everything just went south. So this is the first time that these two have connected since the events.
Just them, yeah.
Yeah, just them. The events that happened back in London. So I said, there's history here. We're going to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I like where it was going even here. I said, we're going to see where this goes.
Yeah, I said the exact same thing.
Viv comes home and Uncle Phil don't laid out a red dress and some heels for her and said, put this on. We are going to dinner for your anniversary.
Here's where I did not like this episode.
Because
I felt like it was sped up. Like, it was just like, it was one of those joints. It was just like, yo, you have been trying to have this conversation with your wife about Erica forever, you know, and like, oh no, you good. So it's just like, yo, we're going out, and then we get this whole thing right here where it's just like Ashley and Carlton, you know, it was just like they still been at odds, and then it's just like, yo, now Ashley is more so worried about
their parents
and the whole divorce thing, and you know, Carlton's like, you know, trying to console her or whatnot. So it was just like, I was just like, yo, how you go from we didn't have this conversation, you know, because she was lit. Now it's, and at the beginning of the episode, you know, I slept in the office. I done laid out your whole dress and everything, and we're about to go out. We're about to celebrate our anniversary, and then Carlton's like, you know, oh yeah, don't worry, they'll be fine, etc., whatever. And then we get here, and like
there's a radical
we're on episode 5. Episode 3, we just got the whole shebang about them two kissing. And now we're on episode 5, and it's just like, yo, now we're about to have a conversation about this. And I was just like, yo, y'all speeding things up, because now they're in this whole restaurant. They're at a dinner, and now they're talking about it. And now
not only are they talking about that, but Uncle Phil did good by reserving the whole restaurant. He bought out the whole restaurant, so there's nobody but them there. But not only are they addressing the whole situation with Erica, but now they have this radical honesty moment, because keep in mind, prior to the whole reveal about the kiss with Erica, they were already having problems in the marriage. You know, they hadn't been to bed in 2 months or whatever. You know, the whole situation with Carlton and all this stuff was going on. So, and Viv uses this opportunity to incite radical honesty, where she decides to just be openly honest with her husband about everything that she feels. She tells her husband that the chef was sexy and that she thought he was attractive and he made her feel like a woman and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you always do the right things. She's like, I'm not saying you don't do the right things. You do what you're supposed to do, but it don't feel like it's real. I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay. I've been that guy before, so I guess I have a hard time understanding what it is that he has done wrong besides the kiss. Because it sounds like she was, and I get in previous seasons, she was upset about her career and the art thing being put on hold. But the man was running for a political office, so it wasn't like he was putting his career before yours or whatever. He thought in his mind that you were happy with being a housewife and, you know, and being a supportive wife and all those things. He didn't realize that you wanted more until you told him that you wanted more. So, you know, we men can be a little bit naive to what a woman really wants when you're speaking in riddles or whatever, right? So he uses radical honesty as well on her and tells her that, well, I enjoyed the kiss. Or maybe he didn't say I enjoyed the kiss, but he said Erica was sexy. Yeah, she made me feel like a man. She made me feel like she wanted me, you know, something that I don't feel like you want right now. You didn't touch me in 2 months or whatever. Yeah. So I feel like both of them are upset with each other about the same thing. And it seems like they're missing the physical intimacy part of it, you know. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Here's where I had the problem with the scene and the episode. Because it's like I said, the last episode of the show, y'all were at odds. Y'all, Uncle Phil was sleeping in his office. You slept in the bed. You were still upset about the whole situation with Erica or whatnot. Now we get to this joint. Y'all have this little talk, and now all of a sudden, y'all good. And I was like, yo, like, now, granted, I'm not married. I've never been married, etc., whatever. But I'm like, yo, I'm 40, and I've been through, little situations where, y'all been at odds. And I'm like, there's no way that this whole situation has just like, oh, yeah, we good now. Like, this is
that conversation. That conversation
exactly.
should have ignited other conversations.
I felt like, and I don't want to say they should have drug it out because they shouldn't, but I feel like, yo, this is something where like episode 7, we're getting them making up. Like, that's the very next episode.
We're not even going to talk about episode 7. And it made up all right. We're not even going to go there, but I agree.
Like, this is something where like episode 7, y'all should just be now making up, and now y'all already the very next episode. Oh yeah, we good. We got to start doing us,
very next episode,
or whatever. And I was just like, yo, like, you were just mad at this man for what he did with Erica, and now all of a sudden y'all good. We got to start doing us. And I'm just like, yo, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm just like, yo, y'all were just at odds. And like I said, and y'all can say it in the comments, and y'all can come at me. Like I said, I've never been married, so I can't say like how quick married couples can write a disagreement. But my parents have been together and have been married for, let's say, I'm 40, so they've been married for 41 years. They've been together for, I want to say, 46. Just me watching it, since I'm just like, yo, I ain't never seen nothing that quick just be like, oh yeah, we good.
Even though the simplest of arguments.
Yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, I had this and I had this, and yeah, let's get back to us. And I was just like, well, what was the point of them having this whole tension?
There you go. If y'all marriage is that strong where y'all can survive this and get over this so quickly, it really shouldn't have been that big of an issue to begin with. That's my whole point in all of this.
It shouldn't have been no tension in all this. Yeah, it shouldn't have been no tension at all. Yeah, that was my only problem. And then you come home.
Do you know what today is? I'm like, okay. I thought this was Uncle Phil's surprise too.
I did too at first. At first.
Find out Ashley and Carlton did their thing. So they had put some pictures up of them, and I was like, oh, this is a dope picture. AI can do wonderful things.
Yep.
I said, this is a really nice picture. And they were so happy, and they were reminded of their young love, and that they didn't have no money and they didn't have nothing when they first met each other. And it kind of brought them back to that moment of realization that, we still that couple.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get back to that. And I'm like, okay, there's some healing getting ready to start happening. But all of a sudden now we're good. I still feel like Uncle Phil didn't get none when he went upstairs that night, but that's neither here nor there. So Carlton and Ashley feel good that they have strengthened their parents or brought their parents back together, and they feel like they work together to do that. I think the dude's name is, I'm thinking about old boy from Power, Zion. His name is not Zion. It's
Blackccess on the comments. I forgot.
Zyrie or something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere it starts with a Z.
Yeah.
Wilson out here pouting, and he really does have a pout face on. I didn't get to see Pony Rich. And so, the homeboy was sitting there, talking to him and whatever, just trying to make him feel good about, you didn't. And then Jackie pulled up on the golf cart with Pony Rich on it. Talking about she got to go charge the golf cart. He's like, charge the golf cart? You going inside? Where you going? Yep. And Will uses this opportunity to shoot his shot with Pony Rich. She looked out for him because he looked out for her when the guy was heckling her earlier. whatever.
Yep.
And of course, Will was able to go over here and tell him about his lifestyle brand, and this impresses Pony Rich, and he puts up an Instagram post about Blackccess, and and now all of a sudden, they're off to the races of selling their lifestyle brand.
The problem I had with that scene, it was just like, it was almost like with Vic Mensa's character.
Yep.
It was just like, dudes never met y'all, and then immediately as soon as you say it, he's just, oh, I'm all in.
And where's his security? Where's his security?
It was just like, yo, it was just like there was no, it was almost like it was just easy. Oh yeah, I'm about to present this to him, and now Blackccess he's gonna promote it. And it was just like, yo, it should have been some type of joint that said, to show up like, yo, dude, who are you, etc. or whatever. And immediately he just goes to like, oh yeah, that's dope. All right, yeah, I'm gonna promote it. And it was just like, there should have been something. And that's another thing that I had a problem with. It was just like, yo, okay, y'all speeding up the story, y'all speeding up the season, because it's just like, yo, again, Will is the savior, as Retro has said in previous episodes. And now all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, oh that's dope. Okay, bet I'm gonna put this shirt on, Blackccess, and just take all these pictures and just post them all over it. And I was just like, yo, like, anybody, like, I put myself in, and I just put myself in that predicament. I'm like, yo, you come up to me talking about, yeah, Blackccess, I'll never like, like, okay, even if you tell me the story, like, 50% go to black, black owned stores, I still would have been like, okay, like, what else? Like, I ain't just about to jump just to be like, oh, okay, that's dope. Like, I ain't just about to promote you like that, because it could be a scam. And it was just like, oh, immediately he just, oh, that's dope. Okay. And then all of a sudden, it's a whole.
Will gets his endorsement for Blackccess.
Yeah, it was just like, that's something else that showed me how sped up this season is. Like, it's just mad sped up.
Frederick gets back to the house, and Jeffrey and Penelope's conversation didn't necessarily go so well. He pretty much told Penelope to go home, that he had Frederick now, and that, she had her chance. And that didn't go over well with Frederick. Frederick was basically telling Jeffrey that, listen, if my mom not welcome here, I'm not welcome here. We out. And he leaves. And Jeffrey is trying to tell him, no, I need you to stay with me. I need to keep you safe. You don't understand. Frederick was like, I ain't trying to hear none of that. If my mom not welcome here, I'm not welcome here. I'm out. I do know this character's name. His name is Eli. Eli shows up to the Banks house, and I feel like these people are able to walk up and knock up on this door too easy at the Banks house. Like, where's the security detail? Like, how do y'all even get on the grounds? I'll get on the grounds to the Banks.
You thought the exact same thing, because I was like, yo, how you get through the gate? Because I was like, if it was that easy for him to get through the gate, the protesters, when
there you go,
Will's mom came, they could have got through the gate. So I was like, how you get through the gate?
And
like,
Ashley just let anybody in the house.
And I was like, oh, he just comes up to the front door. Oh yeah, I was coming to the bank. And I was just like, and then second, third, whatever, I was like, yo, okay, he's going to replace
Olivia.
Her name Olivia, right?
Yep.
I was like, he's going to replace Olivia. I was like, we about to get this. I was like, this is who is about to replace Olivia.
Yep.
And I was just like, this was another scene, and I was just like, it's pointless to me, because again, I was just like, and we saw from Ashley's face, I was just like, okay, I don't know where the writers are going. I was like, 1 minute we know she is all about girls, etc., whatever, and I was like, now this guy shows up, and I was just like, yo, I was like, okay,
now they're gonna be a thing.
I was like, is this about to be her new love interest? Like, what it is? I was like, because I could see from Ashley's face, like, she has a liking towards him, etc. So I was just like, yo, what's going on? it was just like this was another scene, but I guess we had to get this introduction into his character. But I was just like, yo, y'all could have ripped the scene out some way better where like he could have been outside the gate and he could just push the button and they would have been like, yo, who are you, etc. or whatever. And he could have said, like, yo, I'm here for the band or whatever, and then Ashley could have let him in. But he just come to the front door, and I'm just like, yo, how you even get in?
Yep.
So
earlier when she was meeting up with Olivia, they were supposed to be having auditions for the little band. Nobody showed up to him. So Eli shows up. He's late for the audition. She basically tells him that the audition is over. The band is being, nobody showed up for it. And she's like, she invites him in for them to listen to the records. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is getting ready to be her new thing. This is replacing Olivia, like you said. Pony Ridge is endorsing Blackccess, so Will's got his endorsement and everything, so he's good. And him and Carlton are talking about how they got 6.1 million views on the little video, the little reel that they put up on Instagram or whatever, and the shirts are selling off the shelf now.
I still don't understand that either, because it's like, yo, how like y'all created the page, no one knew who y'all were.
Yep.
And then y'all just created this page, and all of a sudden y'all was getting these followers.
I guess they had followers on their individual page.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere, because last episode it was just like when Carlton went live, he was like, oh, we did such and such amount of followers. And I was like, yo, how? Nobody knew who y'all were. And I get it, with the Tony Rich character on his page, of course, that's like, okay, excuse me. I was like, but I was just like, yo, how are y'all getting all these followers? I was like, it doesn't make any sense. But, that's neither here nor there. They do this, and then we see Carlton with Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, and Phil explains to him, like, yo, you're getting your doors back on. Like, everything's been good. You're getting your doors back on. So, we're proud of you. We talked to the doctors, and of course, Will sees this, and that makes him wants to get his family back together.
Right. That was motivation for him to get his family.
Yeah. That's the motivation for seeing all that together.
Yep. All right. So Frederick and Penelope show up at Frederick's place. Jeffrey's place. And Frederick has brought his mama over. And basically like, okay, if you want me, you got her. And so she's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And she was like, you sure about this? He was like, hell no. She's like, neither am I. And he was like, we'll figure it out. Vivian announces Destiny as a new Neiman Fellow. We don't care. Congratulations, little girl. You did good. I'm glad for you.
And that's something else. And I'm gonna touch on it real quick. That was something else that annoyed me, because that was like, we saw this whole what you call it, on the side of her building,
mural,
this whole painting, etc., or whatever, and then y'all just flew past this real quick, and we haven't seen her since.
Yep, and you're not going to
anything about her.
You're not going to. You're not going to. It's just a plot device to make Viv, remind us that Viv has a job and she has a position at her job. Yeah. That's all.
It was just like, yo, she just painted on the side of the building. She's good.
Uncle Phil sent that letter to that Dear John letter to Erica that tell her bye-bye. Dear Miss Baker, I'm writing on behalf of Philip Banks and Associates to formally notify you that our decision to terminate our business relationship with Carson and Lake effective immediately. So he basically sends her a resignation letter or a dissolution of their business endeavor. And so we already know there's going to be some backlash for that, but he's willing to take it. He's willing to take that backlash, because at the end of the day, he feels like this is what he needs to do for his wife and his family. All right. This crazy ass heifer don't send this fool a text. Somebody, I found our next high cliff diving. Man, push her off of that cliff, Carlton, if you know what I know. But I already said, yeah, this girl gonna be the end of Carlton.
Yeah.
If they don't get away. Will goes back in the box again that Lou sent over with Jeffrey with his things in it. And he finds a picture of his family. And this is probably the only picture that he's ever seen them together as a family. So we already know that this was going to rest on Will's mind that I got to get my family out here to try to see if we can make it work, put it back together or something. Texts his mom and tells his mom, hey, I need you in LA, which we had just got finished talking about. We hadn't saw his mom in a while, so it was long overdue for her to get a visit. And that was the episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, we see like, they speeding it up. Like, I don't know what's going on. And we're only in season 3, but I mean, I don't know if it's because of, maybe other shows, but I'm just like, I like Retro said, we've never seen Peacock drop episodes like this before. Like,
normally we kind of like the binge thing. It works for Netflix. So when we watch things on Netflix, we're kind of used to being able to see the own season and watch it at our own pace. But the thing about us content creators that are following these shows and that we're reviewing these shows, it either forces us to do one or two things. Do a combined episode of all 3 episodes in one. It really takes away from our viewing experience and our discussion experience, because part of the fun in creating the content is the predictions on what's going to happen on next episode or what we think is going to happen with these characters. And it kind of spoils that for us because we already know what's going to happen from episode to episode.
Already know.
When we're doing reviews like this, we have to kind of like forget what we watched. And for us, we actually try to watch it episode by episode. But once we get out here on YouTube and post our video and everything, we see that everyone else is talking about the rest of the episode. So we might as well go and watch it too. Yep. But it's not the format that I expect for this show. It's like they don't have faith in the show almost, because they did this with other shows on Peacock, but they've never done this with Bel-Air.
Yeah, they never
done that. The next chapter of Best Man, which we didn't even finish Best Man, but they did the same thing with Best Man where they dropped all the episodes. And I'm like, okay, some of these episodes were really good that you really want to spend a little time talking about, but they denied us that ability to do that when you're dropping all of them at one time. So
exactly,
maybe next season they'll go back to the 1 episode a week format.
Yeah.
You know me, I think it's a bigger conspiracy. They're trying to get out of the way because, that last season of Power is coming back and they need to make sure that they can get all the views they could off Bel-Air before Power came back on.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that later. But that's literally what it is. That's what I think it is.
All right, y'all. So we got one more episode. Yeah, I know. We got one more episode we're going to drop, and then we'll get ready to drop episodes 7 and 8 tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and drop 6 tonight as well. And we will see you guys in the comments. Drop y'all comments because I still got my eye on you, Amira. You're shady. You're shady. Get her out of here.
She's shady.
All right, we'll be back, y'all.